All right, everybody, we're going to do food chemistry intro notes. So this last unit here, we're going to have is food chemistry. And there's a lot that goes into food chemistry. That is such a huge field, but I'm going to just try to give you a little taste so you can kind of understand a little bit more about the things that you put in your mouth and what they're doing for you. So what type of chemistry is food chemistry? Let's start there. What type of chemistry? What type of chemistry is food chemistry? Okay. Well, we can break that down even further because it kind of depends on what you're doing in food chemistry. So if we are doing if we're trying to answer the question, what's in food? What's in food? If we are looking at that question as studying what food is made of, studying what food is made of, then that would make it analytical chemistry. Okay, analytical chemistry is always what is this thing made of? Okay. If we are looking at the carbon compounds in food, so studying carbon compounds in food, which most of our food is made of carbon compounds. Hopefully you know what kind of chemistry that is since we just finished a unit on it, but studying carbon compounds in food is going to be organic. If we are studying minerals in our food, if we are studying minerals in food, okay, minerals are really the metals that we eat, but in ion form, not metal form. Although some of them can be in metal form and our bodies turn them into ions, but studying the minerals in our food, those are not carbon, so that's going to be inorganic chemistry. So there's three possible types of chemistry, and those are all what's in food, okay? Another question we could ask is, how does food work in our bodies? How does food work in our bodies? Okay, well, that question by itself kind of breaks into two different pieces, right? How things work which would be physical chemistry. How things work is physical chemistry. And then the in our bodies piece we are living organisms, so that's going to be our biochemistry. So how things work is physical. The in our bodies portion of that is biochemistry. So there we go. We've got all 5 types of chemistry. So food chemistry contains pieces of every chemistry field. Contains pieces of every chemistry field. Food chemistry contains pieces of every chemistry field. Okay. Okay. So we're going to continue our intro here. Next board. Actually, I'm going to flip this one over and just use the lines here. All right. Next question. Why do we need to eat food? Okay. So we did what type of chemistry is food chemistry. This is why do we need to eat food? Okay, why do we need to eat food? Hopefully most of you already know part of this answer, okay? We get energy from our food. We get energy from our food. Now I'm just going to put a couple more points on this, okay? Energy equals calories. Energy equals calories. Some of you probably drink those energy drinks that have 0 calories in them. And just so you know, there is absolutely no energy in that energy drink. It has to have calories to give you energy. Now, there's other chemicals in there like caffeine and taurine, which stimulate your brain. They make your brain work a little bit faster. But if you don't have calories in your system, they're really not going to do anything for you except for make you crash hard. So energy equals calories. Just let you know, those energy drinks that are 0 calorie, they're not energy drinks. They have 0 energy. All right, calories come from macronutrients. Calories come from macronutrients in our food. Now we've seen this one right here, this prefix macro, it's the opposite of micro. Micro is very, very small. Macro is very, very large. Remember, that kind of depends on what you're comparing to. Like a macronutrient isn't going to be like something that's this big. It's just going to be larger molecules that are part of our food. Okay, so macronutrients are where we get our calories. But it's not just energy that we get from our food. We also get materials from our food. So we get materials from our food. We get materials from our food. Okay. We get materials from our food. All right, what are those materials? What are we talking about here? Okay, so why do we need these materials? What are we using them for? We use materials so to build or repair, cells, proteins, bones, etc. To build any piece of your body, to repair any piece of your body, we need material. Okay, if we don't have that material, your body has to sacrifice something else in your body in order to come up with the material that it needs to repair whatever. Okay, to help our immune system, to help our immune system fight infection and disease. To help our immune system fight infection and disease. So that's another thing that we need materials for. Okay, so now we're going to talk about food as a whole category, and we're going to break it down into subcategories, and we're going to break those subcategories down into subcategories. So we're going to draw a flow chart. So if you don't have space on your page, make sure you get into a page where you have some space. Now I'm going to flip over to this blank one, and we're just going to put food right at the top center of our flow chart. Okay, food. And we're going to break our food into 2 categories. Major category over here is macronutrients. Macronutrients. And on this side, it is logical. It's going to be the opposite of that. It's going to be micronutrients. macronutrients and micronutrients. Okay, I'm going to start over here on the micronutrient side to just do the smaller side first, because this piece of the flow chart is a little bit smaller. So underneath micronutrients, we have two subsections. We have vitamins and we have minerals. We will take notes on all of these things later. Let me just rewrite that so you can actually read it. It says minerals. So we will have notes on vitamins and minerals at a later point, but I also want to break apart vitamins into two categories as well. So the two categories for vitamins are fat soluble versus water soluble. So fat soluble vitamins, water soluble vitamins. And we again will take notes on vitamins and minerals 2 different times in the future. Okay. Macronutrients is actually what we're going to start with as we go through our food chemistry unit. And there's 3 categories of macronutrients. And if you look at your food label, your nutrition label on any of your food products, those 3 categories are broken up for you on the food label. And vitamins and minerals can be there as well, but the 3 categories of the macronutrients are fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. So fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. And I believe we're going to be focusing on carbohydrates first, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the order. Those are your 3 categories for macronutrients. Now, they also subdivide a little bit. Carbohydrates, they split into fiber, sugars, and starches. Fiber, sugars, and starches. Okay. And then proteins, we're not going to split that further. There are lots of different kinds of proteins, but we're going to keep our protein piece of our chemistry a little bit simpler. But the fats, they split into 2 major categories, saturated and unsaturated. Saturated and unsaturated. So again, just one more time to reiterate, this is not the last time you're going to hear these words. We are going to take notes on carbohydrates and fiber, sugars, and starches as part of those notes. We are going to take notes on proteins. We are going to take notes on fats, which are saturated and unsaturated. There's actually a 3rd category, which we're going to talk about as well, but it kind of falls into one of those categories. Micronutrients, we are going to talk about, we're going to do notes on vitamins, and we're going to do notes on minerals. So you're going to get a lot more detail. This is kind of just our introductory page, maybe a little table of contents for this section of our course. So hopefully that all made sense, and we will see you in class.